Starfleet Underground. Every week, we'll take a look at the latest Star Trek news and then check out a current or classic episode of Star Trek. We go all the way back to Star Trek Enterprise. What's the deal with that theme song? Why does Phlox have such a big smile? Hoshi speaks Klingon. T'Pol attacks a breadstick. And there's a Timey-Wimey Wibbly Wobbly room. Plus, when you visit a strange new world, some things are extra sexy.
Outstanding. I didn't even know he had a sister. Yeah, she's here on the ship. Seriously, we're going to get a chance to talk to... Oh, the light's on. Okay, welcome everybody to Starfleet Underground. We're here on board our wonderful ship, and we have a surprise guest. And can I say that the surprise guest even surprised one of our crew members? His eyes bulged out because he had no idea that she was going to be on board. So this is going to be really friggin' awesome. Okay, first off, I am captain of this vessel. My name is Nathan, and we have our science officer.
Hi, I'm Heather. I'm the science officer. And Captain, I just showed our guest her new quarters, but I just have to forewarn everyone. I wasn't able to get all of the tribbles out, so watch out. There's a couple of them still hiding in your room, and you know how mischievous they are.
Yeah, they can be. Definitely. Don't trust one of them if they wear a ball gag. They're coming for other things. We have our computer person, Patrick.
Hey, this is Patrick. I'm number one. I'm the computer guy, and I'm the foreign species liaison. What's up?
And of course, we have Rocky. And I'm so excited to see who's after Rocky. Rocky?
Hello, everybody. I'm totally not ready for any surprise. I've had a long night, and I don't need any surprises right now.
Too bad.
Okay, and our special guest is, oh my God, I should have a drum roll. This is so cool. We have, yes, Rocky does have a sister. Rocky's sister. Introduce yourself.
Patty, what the hell are you doing here?
Surprise! I know you missed me.
Oh, man. You go to space to try to get away from family, and they show up anyway.
No, you can run, but you can't hide.
I beamed away and you can't hide.
Mom wanted me to track you down.
Damn.
Oh, are you grounded again, Rocky?
No, I'm in space, so they can't ground me when you're in
That's
space.
right. Unless his gravity isn't working.
Unless they bring your sister over here to ground you.
Yeah.
Remote grounding.
That's okay. I'll be distracted by the tribbles.
She's very good with animals, so the tribbles are probably a good thing.
So she'll be good with Nathan, too.
Yeah, and any cats, dogs, let me at them.
That's going to be so cool. I'm glad you're on this ship. Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
We have a whole ship full of animals, so you'll be good.
Oh, good. That's all I need. I'll be mostly out of his hair, but you know.
And I will not tell Rocky where you guys planted the subdermal locator on his body. So
good. I mean, thank you, because Mom really wants to keep an eye on him. You know, that's what she does. She worries all the time.
Isn't that cute? Our engineer has a mom that cares. That is so adorable.
Isn't that adorable?
I'm not blushing. I'm totally not blushing right now.
I find it interesting that he has a mom since I thought he was hatched.
Oh.
Wow.
Dang.
I can't even come back from that.
I mean, we could have hatched, but you could still have a mom.
This is so cool that you're on the ship. So thank you very much. Today's homework, if you didn't listen, is going to be Enterprise, the first episode, part 1. If you tried to join us, it was difficult to split the episode, but we did in interest of time. So we're going to be talking about part 1, and we'll talk about it next week. We'll do part 2. And today's show is, of course, being brought to you by Section 31. And because Patty brought some interesting pictures, we just might have, when our Patreon comes up, you might get a chance to see the crew in their birthday suits. Say, what? That's right. In all our wonderful glory.
You're welcome.
So that's going to be interesting.
I'll have to go get my birthday suit pressed.
Yeah, it's a lot of wrinkles, especially your dangly parts are very wrinkled. So we'll talk about that.
My birthday suit doesn't fit the way it used to.
No.
You know,
Nathan's is all stretched out and worn out. Got patches on it. And
I swear, one day I'm going to find a way to get that air out of your room. Corrections. Is any corrections?
I did not get anything over subspace, so looks like we're good.
Outstanding. We have another flawless week. And news of the week here. You got any news for us, Heather?
Yes, sir. I, Captain. So this week, Tilly on Discovery, actress Mary Wiseman, confirmed that she is queer and proud. Even though she is married to Rin, the actor Noah, oh God, I'm going to butcher this, Averbach Katz.
That sounded right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank God. Even though she's married to him, Wiseman says that she has dated and loved people of all genders.
Woo woo.
That's pretty cool. She's even more awesome.
Hearing it from my queer brethren. Woo woo.
Yay!
I just have to say, you know, some people, you know, who have no boundaries and like to explore, they're actors, you know. They like to explore. Nothing wrong with that.
Space, the final frontier.
And I feel
Yeah.
she's just way too much woman for one species. So that's even more awesome. I think that's cool.
I had to laugh because Twitter just lit right up with this story. And I'm like, okay, yeah, so what? That's cool.
I had someone, when I posted about it, someone had said, well, why the fuck does that matter? And I'm like, really? I'm like,
Seriously?
okay, representation matters. And they're like, well, I think she should be, you know, I don't think it should matter that she's queer. I think she should just be based on her, you know, her abilities. And I'm like, that's not the point. The point is that some little queer redheaded girl doesn't see herself on TV and thinks she's all alone. And now that Mary's come out, that little girl's going to say, hey, there I am, and feel okay about herself. And it was just
Exactly.
and I couldn't believe I had to explain this to a gay man. It was like,
You know, it's to be celebrated, you know, that somebody can love people.
and it was a gay man of color too. So, you know.
And we don't live in that perfect utopia where, yeah, of course it shouldn't matter, but we have to state it. And if she's comfortable enough to tell and share, that makes it all the better for everyone else to get comfortable to share and be who they are.
Representation matters.
Yeah, it really does.
I agree 1,000%. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it.
I mean, I thought when I was growing up that I was a gay Asian when I saw Takei, so.
Oh my.
Oh my.
Oh my.
That's right.
Well, I've got news.
What's your news?
So last week they had the Critics' Choice Super Awards, and Star Trek Lower Decks was nominated for 3 nominations last night, including one for Jack Quaid and for Tawny Newsome. However, they didn't win.
Nice.
Oh.
Patrick Stewart was nominated for Best Actor in a Science Fiction Series for Picard, and he won!
Awesome.
And Sonequa Martin Green was also nominated for Best Actress in a Science Fiction Fantasy
She
Series.
better have won.
No, but she lost to Natasha Demetriou from What We Do in the Shadows.
That is so wrong. She should have won that.
But What You Do in the Shadows is definitely funny. Also.
No, that's good. But she is such a brilliant actress. She should have won that.
This season, she's been really showcasing her talent.
Yeah,
she
really should have won.
every time she's got to dive in deep emotionally, she just like breaks my heart. And What We Do in the Shadows is brilliant, but like, she's had meatier material to dive into. That's too bad that she didn't win, though.
Yeah, I agree. Well, this next year.
Both Picard and Discovery were nominated for Best Science Fiction Fantasy Series, which ended up going to The Mandalorian. And then
that's hard. That's
They
hard.
used the Force.
Don't make me choose.
Yeah.
They used
Then
the
the big award, the Critics' Choice Super Awards first ever legacy award, went to the Star Trek franchise for recognizing the cultural impact it has had across multiple decades while continuing to appeal and to grow its loyal fan base with new stories and characters. And Sonequa and Patrick were the ones who accepted it. And Sonequa said, on behalf of my Star Trek Discovery family and the many extraordinary television series and films that inhabit the Star Trek universe, I would like to thank the Critics' Choice Award for honoring us all, and most importantly, Gene Roddenberry's timeless vision with the first ever Legacy Award. So it was pretty cool.
Outstanding.
Well, I mean, the legacy is, without a doubt, Star Trek is like the legacy show. I mean, it is, it's decades and decades of wonderful programming.
It's just like legacy parts on a computer, you know? OG.
Yeah, there you go. OG for sure.
Yeah.
We probably will never know just how much Star Trek's been responsible for shifting perceptions and putting ideas in people's heads that would never have normally gotten it if it wasn't for the show.
It's fascinating because the influence Star Trek has had on things like NASA, and then NASA's had influence right back on Star Trek because Star Trek's been around so long.
Space Force.
It's well, I don't know about the Space Force.
Don't
They use the Star Trek
dare bring
emblem.
Space
You
Force.
look at the stylings of Star Trek Enterprise, and you can see the influence coming back from NASA a little bit in some of their designs. So yeah, I think it's a wonderful thing. It bounces back, and I mean it's science fiction, but it bounces back and forth with the science community all the time.
and become science fact.
A lot of science fact is, I think if it just a matter of time before science fiction becomes science fact. I
It's
mean,
already happening.
communicators and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's already happening.
I do not want a replicator where I eat my own shit.
It's not gourmet.
Well,
it's
Well,
replicated.
now, Heather, when you cook something and people say it smells like shit, you could go exactly.
I could just cook normally and have people say it smells like shit. So I could go to the replicator and have it smell like shit. I mean, at least there's no fire with the replicator, but still.
Oh, there's fire sometimes. We've seen what you've done with the replicators.
True. True. Good point.
And Rocky, do you have any news for us?
Actually, I was starving for news this week because there wasn't very much. I mean, I wasn't going to go with Mary announcing the queerdom because she's just so cool, and I figured somebody would do it already by now. But I happened to trip upon on Facebook the people from Gays in Space. Gays in Space with 3 A's in gay and space. If you type it in, gaysinspace.org. Literally, there are 6 A's in this motherfucker.
I'm part of them.
They're wonderful people.
Yeah.
You go to the conventions and they're selling tribbles. I mean, they're great. But the thing they got going on this Thursday on the 21st of January. They're doing a virtual celebration with Zoom, and they're going to have Michael Dorn on it. And it's a special Zoom thing, so you can get tickets to it, and they're not like super pricey tickets. So you can buy like really super cheap, like $1 or $2 just to get into it because it's all virtual. But if you put a little bit more in, maybe you can get a little bit more action. Like you can do chat questions and whatnot too. So they'll be doing interactivity and trivia and all that fun stuff.
They usually do a one night during the Vegas convention. They have a one night at one of the
they throw the biggest party.
The gay clubs in Las Vegas, and
they actually take it off site.
The last time I was there, Nana Visitor was there, Dr. Phlox was there, Aaron Eisenberg was there. I'm trying to remember who else was there. There was a whole bunch of Trek people who were there. So it was
Nana Visitor.
What's his name? The Klingon. He was a Klingon. JG Hertzler was there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so was Nana Visitor was there as also.
I said that.
You did.
You did.
Yeah,
I did.
he did.
Yeah.
You did.
Pay attention, man.
No, sorry, can't do that.
Selective
I had too many things coming up on my screen.
Nudie pictures of Rocky.
and Patty, you have any news for us?
No news. Just that's the good news.
Well, the good news is that you brought us the picture, which I am quite grateful for. Now there's news that I have.
Ooh.
How many people would love to have data in their house? Just to
What, it's like a life-size sex doll?
Oh, not quite, but we're close. There's a company called Exo.
Child-sized?
No.
What?
No, there's a company.
That's so wrong.
Sorry.
You're close. There's a company out there called Exo6 who puts out things that are comparable to Sideshow. I don't know if anybody's seen the figures that Sideshow comes out. They're so realistic that it looks like they've shrunk down the character and made him into an action figure with articulated parts and everything.
Oh,
well,
that's cool.
Exo6 is doing that with Commander Data. It looks exactly like Data. It's a 1/6 scale articulated figure. It's not out yet, but for those of you that want it, it's going to come out. It's going to be more than 30 points of articulation.
Does the action figure come with Spot?
No, it does not. However, it does come with 2 heads, a regular portrait, the Borg Queen face. He's got his jumpsuit from Nemesis. He's got his boots, a display base. He comes with a Type 2 hand phaser, a TR-590 tricorder, and a phaser rifle. It's not out yet, but it's going to be out soon. However, if you want it, you don't have to save your Earth money because at the price right now, so far, the price point is $189.95. I don't know why they just don't say $190, but I guess it's a psychological thing.
Does his penis articulate?
Is he fully functional? Multiple techniques?
Yes, he is fully functional. He's anatomically correct.
Oh boy.
So they said phaser rifle, so I'm positive.
That's
Is that what he calls it? He calls it the phaser rifle.
It really is a sex doll.
Yeah. Heather, your job is to test it. So,
Yes, sir. I'm getting my strap on right now.
Oh, this is highly disturbing.
Welcome to our show.
Oh yeah, we should have told you this is an NC-17 show.
Oh yeah, not made for kids. Take your kids out of the room.
Speaking of which, if there are kids listening right now, you escaped my...
I mean, that's fine, but like, this is still disturbing.
Yeah, if there are kids in here, if you're under the age of 16, you need to leave the room now. So, because you can't hear the words we say. So,
Penis.
get the fuck out.
Vagina.
Get the fuck out.
Cock.
Boobies.
Balls.
Now, or we'll let Patrick fart and his smell will transcend radio waves, podcast waves, and everything. In fact,
Yeah.
you should smell a little bit of it now.
This
So,
is not smell-o-vision.
That's gnarly.
yeah, it's really bad.
It's not
So
smell-o-vision.
now that we've
Sorry.
gotten all of our normal stuff out of the way, Heather, you're on.
Let's get to the show.
Yes, sir. I Captain. So this week's episode is Star Trek Enterprise, Season 1, Episode 1, Broken Bow, Part 1. It first aired September 26, 2001. Teaser, Warp 5. Exactly 100 years from now, in 2121, a teenage boy named Jonathan Archer confirms that Earth has already met the Vulcans and humans haven't reached Warp 5 yet, as he's talking to his dad, who is an astronaut. 30 years later, the Broken Bow incident takes place where a pair of Suliban aliens got into a bar fight with the Klingon, which resulted in a blown-up corn silo in Oklahoma with dead aliens everywhere. Damn, Romulan nail.
And did anyone notice this is the first Star Trek series that doesn't have the Star Trek theme as the opening song?
Oh, we haven't even gotten to that part yet. That has its own section. I got a whole thing to talk about that.
Oh,
Dude,
boy.
if we're going to talk about the opening, I have got to rant about the song.
There is a skip intro button.
Oh
If you-
my God, that kills me.
I think that's why it was invented, was because of Star Trek Enterprise, the skip intro button.
You don't understand. I listened to like literally 2 seconds of it. I muted it because I did want to see the intro, and I've had that motherfucking song stuck in my head for a week. Like I woke up singing that.
Yeah, it's just in there. It doesn't leave.
No.
I'm amazed at how catchy it is.
I even think that the song isn't that bad. I don't necessarily
it's
like it
horrible.
for a Star Trek show, but it just sticks in your head.
It is the worst. I can't
It's like one of those
stand it.
earworms that Khan stuck in Chekhov.
An actual
I've
earworm.
got faith. I've
Yeah.
got faith.
Yeah.
They said the best way to get rid of an earworm is to sing the song to its completion, and it will help leave your head.
Is that true?
And is in order to do that, in order to get rid of that, if you really want to not like the rendition done on Enterprise, listen to the original artist that sung it, which was Rod Stewart. So that might help you.
That might be better.
You know what's funny is some people are so, they've got the, I don't know if it's the nerve or the balls, but when you go to the conventions and they have the karaoke night, they go, oh, I'll sing Faith of the Heart. This is great. And they start singing it, and then they get to the second verse, and nobody knows the second verse because it's not in the show. It's hilarious.
Exactly.
They fucking fail so fast. They try to sing along like they don't know the word. It's so funny to watch that happen.
If you want me out of a room, just start playing that song and I will beeline it out of that room.
I've got faith of the heart.
It's so horrible.
For me personally, the very first night, I was like about 90% of the other Trekkies out there going, what the fuck
What
did
the
they do?
actual fuck?
And yeah, so it's like you're shocked by this song. They're singing lyrics at you. Star Trek doesn't sing lyrics at you. What the fuck is going on? And then at the same time, it's like a mental incongruity because I'm watching the montage. Guys, I think Star Trek Enterprise has one of the best starts of a Star Trek show because of the visuals they put into it. I love the montage. They intersperse actual historical footage of the beginnings of flight and NASA and all of that stuff. And it's so beautiful the way they put all that together.
Yeah, it's really gorgeous.
The pictures and the images are really, really awesome. You just have to mute the goddamn fucking song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we talk about how, the NASA and Star Trek thing goes back and forth. They had the assembly of the International Space Station in the opening credits. And it's funny because in 2001, they barely had a few modules assembled. But now that's actually what the space station basically looks like right now. It's this massive solar array thing, and it's in orbit on our planet. It's circling around up there with those giant solar panel arrays. It's so cool that the time has passed, but now it's actually accurate. That's kind of cool.
It's been 20 years.
Do you guys know what the lyrics are for the original Star Trek theme?
Well, that's where I was going.
That's true. That one does have lyrics too.
It does have original themes. There is.
No, it does have.
Why.
It says, "Beyond the rim of the starlight, my love is wandering in starflight. I know he'll find a star-clustered reaches, love. Strange love, a star woman teaches. I know his journey never ends. His Star Trek will go on forever. But tell him while he wanders his starry sea, remember me."
You know why it has lyrics?
Because there's a wagon train.
No, it has lyrics because when Alexander Courage came up with the theme for it, Roddenberry thought to himself, if this theme song makes money, I want to cut. So he wrote the lyrics.
Smart.
Just so that he could get part credit for it. And if it made money, he can get a percentage of it.
Smart.
You mean he was being greedy?
That's a true show business person right there. Struggling, hustling. Anything you can do to make that buck.
Yeah.
Hustling.
The title of the theme is Where No Man Has Gone Before.
Yeah, so he wrote, and that's if you want to talk Roddenberry stuff, he was also not only a great writer, he was also a marketer. He came up with the Vulcan symbol for IDIC because he wanted to sell a bunch, and
I did too.
Spock wear it, which was really cool.
Going back to what Patrick said, where they had the lyrics "Where no man has gone before," that was actually the very, very first quote of this whole series was from young Jonathan Archer, where he said, "Whereas no man has gone before."
It was cute.
And I love as they work through the sequence later in the show, they finish it off.
Yeah,
when Zephyr Cochrane has his speech.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. I mean, that's when they're hitting the Trekkie in the heart right there. After they kind of confused it with the song, they start coming back at you with the quotes from.
And Henry Archer was like, Cochrane would be proud.
Yeah, so that was kind of cool.
Now, for those of you that weren't aware of it, we had a chance to see he's passed now is Tiny Lester.
Yeah.
He played the Klingon.
I had no idea that he was in that.
Yep. He was the Klingon.
I love him. He was a wonderful Klingon.
Yeah, wait a minute. Was it Klingon or Klingot?
That was hilarious.
That guy.
Klingot.
It's a Klingot. It's a Klingot. You've got Klingots around that. You've got Klingots around your anus.
I'm gonna cry out. That's the next section, but we're basically there already. My only other note was the corn silo exploded the disruptor. Usually you think that thing would disintegrate it. It made that sucker explode like a massive gasoline explosion.
From them corn produces what, methane or something?
Well, he had some moonshine or something going on in there or something.
The farmer had his moonshine stash stuck in there.
Well, he also had that phase rifle or whatever. They ask questions later than shoot first is what they do over there in Oklahoma.
And why does a farmer has a phase rifle?
He broke out that rifle, and I was like, okay, white farmer in Oklahoma. Glad to see things have changed. Ugh.
Right, that's what I was thinking. 100 years later, and they're still rednecks.
I mean, the Klingons go and they're probably saying, "I need to know where the bathroom is." That's all they're saying. And they just blows shoots a hole in him. Poor guy.
I mean, it's intimidating. I would think Tiny Lester shouting in a foreign language. Yeah, but come on. If you want to deter him, just shoot him in the knee for a little bit. Although that would have made him angry.
Well, the problem is a farmer doesn't really practice because he doesn't know how to shoot and aim for the kneecap. That's probably what the problem is.
He just should have stayed inside.
He should have stayed inside. Also, too, when we see this, especially when young Jonathan Archer is that is in Star Trek fictional chronological, the timeline, that is the earliest we've ever seen out of all 9 TV series or 10 or however many TV series there are. That's the earliest in the timeline.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's true.
And I love the painting of the model. That was just kind of cool stuff. The close-up details of a kid painting the model. I never got my models to look that good.
100 years from now, they're not going to have models like that.
Well, now they just 3D print them. So not even 50 years from now, they're going to do that. I mean,
you also don't have the prop department to help you out with it.
Yeah, that's true. I wonder if they just grabbed a model from home and said, okay, here we go. We got a model.
Probably.
30 years from now, it's going to be a CG model.
Yeah, exactly.
The one thing, as a movie buff, action movie nerd, the explosion of the corn silo looked pretty darn good because I think part of it was practical. I mean,
it
was
had to be
CG
practical.
elements to it, but that was like really explosive, like cloud going.
The explosion was nice, but when they did the shot of his body, it wasn't even that it was propelling his body forward. His body went to the side, and then I was like, "Thank you, green screen action." Like that was a little cheesy and reminded me of '90s action shots. But
2001 television,
exactly.
very close to '90s action shots.
It's true. It just made me laugh because I mean we see explosions all the time now, and we can see how well they're done when the actor gets to do the slow-mo walk away from it, or when they explode, they are propelled forward. And Tiny Lester went to the side, and I was just like, that's amazing.
Well, Klingons don't do anything straightforward, so.
Well, he was probably diving to the side because he saw shrapnel. So he's like, I'm going to avoid that. Really cool and Matrix-like and dive to the side.
So this is the first time chronologically that we see a Klingon, that we see a Suliban, that we see a Denobulan. I mean,
we haven't seen that's next section. Yeah,
Nope.
We should just get to the next section, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, go.
Let's go.
Okay.
Diving in.
So next section, Act 1, first mission. Archer, now all grown up and a captain of a Starfleet ship, is called to sickbay where he meets our Klingon from Earth. He is barely alive but will survive, and against the Vulcan's wishes, Archer insists on taking him back to the Klingon planet. After a spat, everyone agrees, and we have our first mission of the series, to escort the wounded Klingon back to his planet. Before the mission begins, we are introduced to the crew. We see Starfleet's new transporters, and it's the first time they have ever been used. Plus, by the way, they're only carrying transporting supplies, just wanted to say. The captain won't even transport his dog on those things. We learn that Archer's dad made it possible for us to go to Warp 5, and in a strange chamber somewhere far away, we see a silhouetted figure who wants information from the Klingon who is on Archer's ship.
Can we go to Neptune and back in 6 minutes? Hello?
That was cool.
It was nice seeing you scratched the ship.
Oh my goodness. Trip drives a shuttle pod like a lot of professional people parallel park their cars. I mean, if you have intimidation of parallel parking and then you see somebody who's really, really good at it, they do it by feel. Like they feel the car they bumped into behind them, and then they feel the one in front of them, and then it perfectly fits fine.
I like to say that I went to the Austin Power School of Parallel Parking, and watching Trip, ding the paint made me feel good.
Let's just say in Las Vegas, there is no parallel parking. So if I drive anywhere else, there's parallel parking. I sort of have like a freak out, like, oh my God, you want me to parallel park? I don't think I've done this since I was 16.
Right.
In New York, if you fail to parallel park properly and quickly, you will come back out and find your car keyed.
I believe it. LA is a little rough like that too.
Oh my God.
That was actually one of my first almost rage quits when I came out here, because there was an area I had to parallel park and people were not up on one another's bumper.
Yeah.
There's like two people could take up like three car spots in New York because they leave so much cushion front and back. No, that doesn't happen. So, but yeah, it was cool to see Trip in there, and he's looking at the ship and he's like, yeah, that part needs to be reinforced and that over there.
Yeah, it's very diagnostic looking. It's not the glamorous starship in the space dock scene from the motion picture or from Wrath of Khan. It's kind of, oh, no, here's a ship, we're looking at it. And, oh, yeah, we got to replace those. And, oh, you scratched the paint, you dummy. Okay. It was still kind of cool.
It was also, you see the Vulcans still maybe didn't master the emotion yet because they're supposed to be so emotionless. Yeah. Oh my God, the condescending stuff.
He's about to yell at him. He was yelling. I'm like, wow, that Vulcan raised his voice.
Yeah.
He's like, you'll be apprised of all pertinent info. Like, what a bitch.
Yeah.
I know. I was like, I remember Spock being kind of cool and maybe they don't really understand him and whatever, but like Vulcans in the beginning?
T'Pol was a jerk.
Kind of. T'Pol made me so mad.
Yeah, these were different Vulcans. These were different Vulcans from a different time.
Yeah, they
was an asshole. She was just an asshole.
Maybe the Vulcans in the later timeline, they were more on the Asperger's, spectrum, and that's why they acted that way.
That could be.
But I just wanted to...
Believable.
I just wanted to bring up, Archer said, we've been deferring to the Vulcans' judgment for 100 years. And I just want to point out, if this takes place in 2151, that means Earth met the Vulcans 100 years ago, which would be 2051, which is 30 years from right now.
So now we're in the middle of World War III, right?
Well, 30 years from right now. And also, too, this episode aired 20 years ago. So that just shows you how fast freaking time moves. So we're going to be meeting the Vulcans here pretty soon.
The more you experience time, the more annoying it gets.
The more faster it gets.
I hate it when they do the news stories like, oh, this happened 20 years ago. And they're like, that just happened 5 years ago. What are they talking about?
But it can't be 2051 because first contact date is April 5th, 2063.
Thank you, because I was going to ask when was first contact day.
Yeah.
So they're a little off with their stuff. But
you gotta watch. Yeah, and they did put some dates in when you didn't hear a star date. He was actually said when his log he actually mentioned the day. So it's very interesting.
Yeah,
they haven't
2151.
discovered the galactic center yet. However, it was cool that they brought back the same actor for Zephyr Cochran for the speech.
Oh yeah,
James Cromwell
really cool.
just loves Star Trek. So
And
you almost said Star Wars.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, you were going to say Star Wars.
Shame on you. They heard it.
what?
Okay, drop her off the podcast. Drop her off. Drop
No,
her
I
off.
wasn't saying
Let me show
Star
you
Wars.
where
I was
the
thinking
airlock is.
May the Force be with you.
No. I'll fuck up and gladly own that anytime. But James Cromwell loves Star Trek because he was in. My brain was thinking how he was in Next Gen.
And Star Trek loves him.
And First Contact. So it makes sense to me that James Cromwell would have come back for Enterprise.
It was nice.
Yeah, it was cool. You know what I also got a kick out of was watching Pride from NCIS New Orleans. He looked really good in this. Nice and young. A lot younger Scott Bakula.
Yeah, he really was. You could see. It's like, oh my God, he's a baby in this.
Yeah, I love NCIS New Orleans.
It's so much fun watching, and you see the names. Sometimes you see the director credits, and LeVar Burton's directing an episode here or there. I think you'll find that in Enterprise too. I think he's got a couple of these.
Well,
some of them have.
If we're speaking about names, did you guys notice that several characters' names were homages to the original series actors?
Yes.
Like Admiral Forrest was named after DeForest Kelley.
Oh.
Admiral Leonard for Leonard Nimoy. Commander Williams for William Shatner. And TOS, which is the abbreviation of the original series.
Yeah.
Oh,
that was really
was
great.
cool that they did that. I thought that was awesome.
Interesting.
And I thought the subtle part they did to show how astute and cunning Archer was, that he knew Hoshi wasn't going to want to come.
Oh, yeah.
But
He brought
also
the little
knew what her
secret trick.
passion-
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was great to see.
He plays it.
Archer's
It's like-
really solidly sharp on this. I mean, the first time you see him, he looks up and not as a kid, but as an adult Archer. He walks right in and goes, "Oh, what's this we got in here?" And he walks right into the Klingon, goes to look at the dead Klingon right away. Ignore all these other people in the room. He's going right for it. He's following what's important. And to get Hoshi, he knows exactly what he needs to get her, because you just got to bring a cool recording. Check out this new beat I got from the Vulcans. It's this Klingon translation database,
And Hoshi's not no slouch herself. She says, "You can't force me to come because of this, this, and this.
Oh,
You
yeah.
have to charge me. You have to do that."
She's
It's
good, too,
but
yeah.
I get a secret weapon for you. It's like, what's that? It's like, what is that?
I just love that she's teaching, she's teaching the language in the class, and then she hears the actual thing, and it's like, oh, it's like, a bookworm hearing the real deal. It's like that kind of science nerdy kind of thing. But I will never forget the sound that she was making. They were doing that demonstration.
What sound was that again?
Yeah.
You're going to make me do it again?
I mean, if you want to. What language? What language was that supposed to be? Do we know?
It was said Klingon in the subtitles.
No,
It said
it's
speaking
probably
Klingon.
It sounded like some sort of avian species language. I've not heard an Earth language like that myself.
Maybe it's when a Klingon is actually reaching orgasm that they do that.
Oh, you never know.
Oh,
Do you know,
his head shell could be reverberating.
It's true. I had the captions on while I watched it, and when Klingon was spoken, it wasn't like parentheses Klingon speaking, while language written out. And I just loved whoever was in charge of captioning to write out Klingon. So
They just wouldn't tell you what they were saying. It just
yeah,
wrote it out in
if
Klingon.
I wanted to brush up on my Klingon, I would, look it up and then translate. But I just love seeing it in there.
Well, it's also interesting seeing the word Chronos spelled out with a K, because that's why I always thought it was spelled. And then you watch it in more modern Trek, and it's got the Q. So the Q.
Everything's
thing.
got a Q in it.
Yeah, very
That's how
interesting.
Q would like it. Yes.
Yes, that's how it shall be.
Q would like to
It
be in
was good.
everybody.
But not everything with Q likes, as we've seen in some memes last week.
We're going to sidestep this.
Yes. But excellent point.
But it was actually really cool also to see how, well, it's not Starfleet Command yet, but how they deferred to Archer of wanting to get stuff done. Because the Vulcan's like, no, you can't do the thing. And showing a little bit of Kirk, he's like, yeah, I'm going to do the thing.
I loved it when Saval's, raised his voice, and Archer's like, oh, so when your logic doesn't work, you raise your voice? He's like, you've been on Earth too long.
Yeah.
And that you showed that really pissed him off and not showing emotion. He was going to have a hissy fit. It's like,
I was ready for Archer to do the snap, like,
that would have been funny. That would have been funny. But you saw he got on the ship and Phlox came with his famous wide grin smile.
Oh, yeah.
oh,
Phlox
that was
creepy smile.
creepy. But that's on the next one, I think.
What about when they finally do get on the ship, though? It's fun seeing them walk through the hallways and people are still putting shit together. They're hanging down upside down off the ceiling trying to put stuff together still. They're walking through. They're talking about, and then they get to the transporter and they're like, I ain't going to go through that.
Ensign Mayweather is a belter.
Yes.
He is. He's a boomer. Yeah,
He
He's a
was
total
totally,
belter.
Yeah.
But he wasn't tall enough. He should have been taller. Also, too, Archer's ship is the Enterprise NX-01. This is the first time the Enterprise has actually launched, and it was in 2151. It's one of the most important starships in interstellar history. And also, too, one thing, there is no tracker beam on the ship. They have grappling hooks instead.
Yeah, the technology is really, really interesting from a Star Trek point of view.
Well, and they've got polarized hull plating instead of shields.
Yeah, this is really a tin can that can barely do warp 4. I mean, it's primitive from our standpoint,
And I know I'm skipping ahead a little, but one of the actors was saying, hey, if we hit any kind of debris or something, we're going to blow holes in this like you wouldn't believe. And I'm like, thank you. Thank you.
He's like, we have to realign the deflector because if space dust hits it, it's going to blow a hole right through.
Like the size of your fist. And that's not good.
Because space, they actually have to worry about that.
I know. Do you remember back in the day when it came out that people were upset that there were more touch screens interfaces happening?
Oh, the interfacing is all buttons and switches everywhere. It's like the Casio exploded all over the inside of the ship, and they blew up 7,000 calculators.
Right. TOS, it's all knobs and things and lights blinking, but like on Enterprise, I mean, there's some of that, but it is all these digital readouts. And so like it's such a funny like discrepancy to have that.
What was it on Discovery? Was Discovery knobs?
Well, Discovery is knobs and a lot more touch screens. The modern day Trek has taken the touch screen and blown it up in front of you and done like a 3D interface.
No. I'm not talking about in the future. I'm talking about when they were still in 2255.
Back in the good old day.
Right, because 2255 was before the original series. They
were doing buttons and switches.
Okay.
But the Star Trek Enterprise has got buttons and knobs. I mean, if he wants to talk on the communications, it's like old Star Trek. He's got to go hit the intercom button and talk back. The ship doors, they're not as sophisticated they're a lot more basic. And you get through some of the ship's sections, they have to actually crank the wheel to close the door, right? That's like, it feels almost Battlestar-ish.
Nothing wrong with Battlestar.
Or am I confusing my sci-fi shows? I think that's some of that. I didn't see it in
Battlestar.
I didn't see that as so much in this show, but I think they have some of that. But so the technology is a lot different, and they got a lot more ladders. They're climbing up and down and get through places. And then, you look at Phlox's sick bay, and he's got a whole holistic thing going on with the plants and animals side of things. Yeah. It's different science in the sci-fi.
I love it. And I love the scene where we're not there yet, but Trip is talking to Paul, and she takes the little elevator down and he takes the steps.
I thought that was funny.
That was great.
That was also one of my favorite scenes where they put the camera in that scene. I guess that is in the next section, but I'll hold off.
Well, it's hard to tell where there was a section here because, it all ran together on CBS All Access. So it was kind of hard to tell what was where and when.
Oh, I watched this on Netflix.
Yeah, I got Bathe This Black on Netflix.
I can't stand CBS All Access because I pause it and the pause makes me mad because it's sometimes like all goofy and
it'll
glitchy.
jam up. It'll jam up. You back it up a second or two because you wanted to write down what that caption was.
And it freaks out.
And then you got to, restart the whole browser.
Yep. So I was watching it on Netflix.
Does it on the TV too sometimes. Netflix was pretty solid, my experience with the streaming. It was pretty good.
I love Netflix. I could stop, start, pause, go back, go forward. I mean, I like it a lot.
The fun thing about the, of course, you had the scene with Porthos and T'Pol.
Where she walks in and she's like, What's that smell?
Let's just move on to the next section.
But Porthos' upper leg is crawling up, and Porthos just wants to say hi and play, and she's standing there like a Vulcan, like she's never seen a dog before.
It's funny. And Trip is like, I took a shower. Did you, Captain?
and then the crazy space time room.
Oh my God! Moving on.
What a way
Act 2.
Okay, we're moving.
We're doing Act 2.
Okay,
you guys need to stop. Okay, Act 2. Klingon Kidnapping. We meet the Enterprise doctor who is working abroad, intergalactically speaking, in order to help humans to get a better understanding of aliens. We can start by understanding that this creepy Joker smile of his is not going to cut it. Travis shows Trip where to find his sweet spot in a secluded cubbyhole. Then we see the crew is trying out Warp 5 with a few side tremors. T'Pol is a bitch, and Hoshi tells her to go fuck off in Vulcan. Then all goes black as the Klingon is kidnapped.
Dun dun dun.
Okay, now just say everything you just said before.
What was I talking about? Well, the end of the last section ended with the space-time room. It was a happy, fun, this is a new Star Trek we're going to have. And all of a sudden it cuts to this ominous, crazy, phasey space-time room. And there's bad guys doing things. And there's shit going down because the guy lost two of his Suliban buddies. One of them was his friend. He asks, can you prevent that? So he's talking to a guy in the future. And of course, the guy in the future is our agreement doesn't provide for correcting mistakes. But the tiny little scene is so ominous, the little future guy stuff. But so that's just a hint of what's going on. And then, so now we're now in the second act.
Did you guys cover the part where the Admiral, he says that for a century, we've waded ankle deep into the ocean of space. Now it's time to swim. I love that line.
Oh, it's so the anxiousness from the human point of view is let's go. Let's get going. We need to explore this galaxy, get out of the world. Let's do things. And the Vulcans are like, hold on, just take a second. You got to be cautious. You don't want to, you don't want to explode. There's a lot of things that are dangerous out here. You got to be careful.
You don't want to start a war with the Klingon Empire.
Yeah, that's true, because that would be bad.
That was Archer's catchphrase was let's go. I mean, he literally said, okay, let's go.
Let's go. That's right. I wrote that one down. It was like, he said, let's go. It's about damn time.
And going back to the doctor, dude, that was creepy. Number one rule for humans. Okay, dude, he wants to be an alien abroad and learn about all the different aliens. First rule for humans, don't be creepy. That dude was creepy.
I loved Phlox. Phlox was one of my favorite characters in Enterprise.
As long as he doesn't smile.
His smile was big and wide. He doesn't do that very often. But I love his attitude. He's like, optimism, Captain. He's so happy to be there.
Funny.
And I love that as opposed to the Vulcans who were like, humans aren't ready. They're impatient little toddlers and they need to be kept suppressed. And Phlox is this great foil to that. I love the humans. I love your optimism. I love, he's so excited about what humans can do in space. And he's excited to learn about everyone.
He thinks we're somewhat simplistic anatomically.
He likes Chinese food.
I do love that.
The actor John Billingsley is really cool.
Yeah, he's a real nice guy.
We've had many a conversation with him in Vegas. And he's also very politically active, too. He's very socially conscious. So he's, on top of being a great actor, he's like, a good human being as well.
Yeah, he's a cool cat. I love the way Phlox, I don't know if I evolved attitude like this or just maybe I got it from Phlox, but people ask him a question like, is this thing, ready? Is he going to die? He's like, well, he could die, but he probably could be fine. He gives a lot of vague answers, I just thought that was kind of funny.
I thought that was cool. It was like, is he going to gain consciousness? Well, he could gain consciousness like in the next 5 minutes or 5 days. Who knows?
Yeah, you don't know. It's all a big mystery.
Oh, and did you know that in the movie In the Other Guys in 2002, he played a scientist whose fascination with Star Trek that his character dresses up as a Vulcan for a Star Trek convention.
That's adorable.
No shit. That is so cool.
I have to go see that now. The other guys?
That is so cool.
How did I not see the other guys?
It's a fun movie. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I've seen him in stuff. What did I see? He was in something with Denzel Washington, and he was a supporting character, but he was really good in it. And I thought it was just a weird casting, but it just worked. Was that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool. I really dig him as an actor. I wish I could see him in more things.
Yep. He was in an episode of the new series All Rise, the legal show that's on CBS. It's pretty good. I like it.
Cool.
That's good.
Woo, woo.
It definitely was showing how Hoshi was able to give out as much as she could. That's this section, right? When she was trying to correct Hoshi.
Yeah, perhaps you'd like to go to your quarters.
It's like something is going on, and it's like I hear it in the ships. Like, how is that? Do you feel that vibration?
Yeah. Hit warp 4.3. She's like, what was that? And it's like, what was what? And then she hit warp 4.4 and like, oh, that's just the deflector sequencing. It's totally normal. And she's like,
I am so happy they had a character do that, because that would be me if I was in a starship. And I am so happy that they actually put a character in there to be like, what was that noise? Is this supposed to be like that? Is this supposed to feel like that?
It's so refreshing, because Starfleet officers are typically, fearless and confident and all that good stuff. And you've got
she's shaking in her
she's
boots,
scared to hell.
But she was so right when she's like, y'all, did you feel that? Like, that's strange. Like, no. And they're like, no, quiet, girl, it's okay. And then the motherfucking Suliban come in, and I'm like, they are so lucky.
I just saw something. Yeah,
that
she was very observant.
I told y'all, like, motherfuckers, listen to me. That wasn't normal.
Yes.
And I was like, this is but yes, I also really do like that she's like, should we be standing so close to that?
It's just a warp core reactor. Safe? It's not a big deal.
I completely agree with you, because that's one thing. I'm sure you guys don't understand this, but that's one thing about being a woman is no one ever listens to you. You sit there and you tell them and no one listens to you, and it's such a normal thing, and it's so annoying.
Girl, I know what you're talking about. Okay.
I'm sorry. What were you guys saying?
You must have dropped off for a second ago. Did you guys hear any audio for the last 30 seconds?
We don't need them. That's fine.
I'm just all about, let's see if this baby will do warp 4.5. I'm going to kick it in the next gear. Let's go.
Time to get a margarita.
It's like that old joke. Like, my wife's always complaining about two things. She says that I don't always listen to her, and something else. Something else.
I can't remember what that was.
So I love funny.
She's trying to translate the Klingon when he came back to consciousness, and is he eating the afterlife? And the best line was, his wife has grown ugly. I wondered what he was actually saying.
Or something about stinky boots.
Something about stinky boots. Yeah. That Klingon was out of his head.
He was actually referring to the Broadway show Kinky Boots.
Oh, it's a good show.
They mix those up all the time.
If you look, it was kind of refreshing in a way, because the fact that you had a chance to see, because of all the shows that we've saw from Star Trek, everybody's accomplished, everyone's professional, everyone knew what they're doing. There's been no freak out, where you see somebody now who's on a starship, freaks out about the starship, freaks out about not being able to translate, and have tech that doesn't work.
Yeah.
The translator does no idea what the hell he's saying.
Yeah, the stuff isn't working right, and she has to improvise. And that's the most scary thing about the whole thing for her. She's got to improvise. She's got to be on her toes. I love it when the Klingons just, he's complaining about something, but it's in the middle of the Suliban's attacking, and Archer's like, would you tell him to shut up? And she just yells at him, shut up! Just like, so fucking funny. The comedy elements in Enterprise's first episode just surprised me. I don't remember it being as funny as it was.
Because it wasn't. No, I'm just kidding.
There's some funny parts later, too. I don't know if it was the second episode 2 or not, but yeah, it had some elements.
In my opinion, it was done well. I liked it.
And don't forget that Vulcans don't touch food with their hands.
Yeah.
We must not forget. Yeah.
she got the breadstick. It just took her a while.
Mm-hmm. Imagine how she felt as a vegetarian, and they got not just steak, but they got big old hunk of slabs of steak.
Those are fucking steaks. Oh, man.
Like, that was the only thing on the frickin' plate was a steak, and then you had a little side of potatoes and no vegetables.
It's good to eat with the captain. That was cool. You get to go eat separately with the captain, and he's got his own setup going. And
you know what? That's probably started the tradition about using shit for food. Because they feed all this food. It's like, oh my God, these guys crapped a lot. So what can we use that on the ship?
They crap a lot.
It's like, is there a way we could use the crap? Because we have all this crap on the ship.
Recycling. It's useful.
Yeah, you're out in space. What are you supposed to do with that?
Yeah, let's recycle.
So did they have replicators? Like,
No.
does Enterprise have replicators?
Nope, they didn't.
Okay.
But the idea
so.
probably sprung from that.
Yeah.
Right? That's where it came from.
Well, lots of things spring from shit.
You know,
So.
if they had another season, we probably would have seen that.
Probably.
Oh, look at all this shit. I got a great idea.
But I love in the dinner scene that while they're trying to sit and get to know each other, they're all being jerks to each other. They're just like all snide about, how you eat, how you need to relax, how we're working, like they're constantly digging at each other, all of them.
Well, that's interesting because a lot of people, if you get into a group of people you're working with, a lot of people dig at each other. It's kind of what they do for fun. It's entertaining.
But it's usually like you can see like it's teasing because there's a familiarity about, but like they don't know her and she doesn't know them, and
but Archer has a long history of animosity with the Vulcans because of what they did to his father, and they've been
right.
for last
even as a
years,
kid,
and,
you could see he had that. Yeah,
he's all Captain. What did he say? Captain Pointy Ears or something?
Yeah. Like, don't call him that.
No.
So they have that long-standing animosity. So that I understand his reactions to Paul. Her reactions, though, seem a little bit more emotional than logical, where she's kind of being snotty. But
well, she doesn't want to be insulted.
Well, she's insulting them left and right as soon as she, gets her.
Well, she didn't ask for this either. She was put on this mission. She did not ask for it.
And when Trip stands up to introduce himself and he puts out his hand and she's like, I'll try and remember that, and turns around, I was like, bitch.
Yes.
Well, modern day Vulcans know if you use the hand signal to say hi instead of shaking hands, you don't spread the virus as easily.
That's right.
Exactly. No cooties aboard Enterprise.
Like, that's what happened to me the first time I met somebody after the whole virus thing started. I instantly just shake this person's hand, and she looked at me like I was fucking crazy.
Oh my God.
It was exactly that. It was that scene right there where Archer held his hand out to shake hands with the Vulcan, and she just kind of stood there and looked at him like, what the fuck are you doing?
I had that same experience. Oh my God, it was mortifying. The person's looking at me like, are you kidding me? I'm like, oh, right. No
I'm
shaking
sorry.
hands.
It's all reflexes,
I know. I miss a
apologize.
good handshake.
No more.
I miss a good hand job. I'm sorry, what?
Don't we all?
God.
I think we're ready for the next section. Once we get the hand jobs.
Yes, because now Patrick's going to be doing a yellow pages. He's going to let his fingers do the walking. So
His fingers are going to
Well,
be
they're
doing
only
what?
yellow pages if I pee on them.
Okay.
next section.
Okay, Act 3, Strange New Worlds. The Doctor notices that these Suliban are genetically engineered to be Superman. There's a big investigation into who kidnapped the Klingon, and they figured out that the planet Rigel 10 might be important, so they travel there to investigate some more. This new strange world offers strippers that eat butterflies, just like frogs, more annoying children that make obnoxious noises, and Klingons. We must follow those Klingons. No, it's a trap. Wait, wrong franchise.
Well, here again, we've got T'Pol being, snotty because, she's like, Captain, your mission is over. You've lost the Klingon. And he's like, no, we'll find him. She's like, space is very big.
Yeah, space is big.
It's like,
It's like talking to a child.
We didn't lose him. He was taken. I mean, come on. She's like, this is a foolish mission. It's like, oh.
Space
come on.
is very big. You won't find him. It's very big out there.
Yeah, logically, we would like, okay, we fucked up. We got to go back. But not the human spirit. We're like, we ain't going to let them take this from us. Let's go find them.
Well, because Archer knows if they go crawling back to San Francisco, then they are not going to be going out anytime soon.
Well, yeah, and he kind of knew.
Yeah.
They basically told him when he was leaving, it's like, don't fuck up.
Yeah,
Yeah, like, yes, sir.
True. God, that was probably the first thing that went through his mind when the Klingon was captured was like, don't fuck up. Oh shit, I just fucked up.
The whole thing, just like,
God
oh
damn
man, yeah.
But
so I gotta fix
these guys
this.
are missing the same point that she missed. He told her, it's like, you lost the Klingon. I didn't lose him. He was taken.
Right.
It's a big difference.
We're going to
So,
see this through.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
It's not like, is he under the floor mat? Did someone check behind the bookcase? No, someone came in and they took him. He didn't
We were
lose
playing
him.
hide and seek and we just lost him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he was here a second ago. Where'd he go?
He's in a Jeffrey's tube somewhere.
We didn't pull Home Alone and leave Kevin behind. No.
Right.
They know. And before they get there, I need to revisit the last point a little bit, is when the Suliban went to attack, it shows you again how much Archer has confidence in Hoshi's ability to hear. Because he didn't see anything.
Oh, yeah.
He
listened right to her right away. It's like, so we talk about, guys not listening to what the girls are saying. They were paying attention to Hoshi. I mean, especially in that moment. Oh, yeah.
Archer.
Well, she's got great ears and a sensitive tongue. Guys always like a sensitive tongue.
Yeah, girl. But yeah, he listened. I love that he didn't doubt her.
Yeah.
That he didn't like poo-poo her.
He listened right away.
That part I like.
Like, are you sure you heard something?
Yeah, he was not questioning.
Yeah, how's somebody else here? Like, there was none of that. It was bam, let's look. And I love the shot of the Suliban coming down on Klaang, because I was like, that's creepy as fuck. Like, thank you for a little bit of terror.
I love when they're climbing around on the ceilings everywhere. The Suliban cling to the ceiling like spiders. I mean,
but again, these aren't regular Suliban, as we find out from Phlox.
Right.
These have been genetically engineered.
Oh yeah, and you got a good close up of the lungs with the 5 lobes
and the compound retinas.
Suliban does whatever a Suliban can. Spins the web, climbs the wall.
Nice.
Oh, God.
Nice.
Very well done, Heather. Very well.
Takes the Klingon and escapes them all.
And the song Before I Fall.
Look out, here comes a Suliban.
Oh, man.
Now, what was funny is that
Marvel's going to sue us for infringement.
She also knew what human males were like, because when they get ready to go to the planet, she's like, you can eat the food, you can do this, but don't fuck the alien women.
Yes. No fucking.
No intimacy.
She totally missed it, though, because Trip was totally fucking with her. He's like, well, you didn't tell us about not to drink the water. Like, the old thing about going to Mexico, don't drink the water.
She was in San Francisco the whole time. She didn't go down to Mexico.
No clue that he was
in
playing her with
where
that.
it's really nice. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's true.
T'Pol did say the doctor isn't concerned with the food and water.
It's true.
Right, but she said it so matter-of-factly she didn't get the point that it was a total joke.
Yeah. She didn't get it. And then the guys there, they were those women with the sucking the butterflies with their tongues and stuff.
That was really hot for Star Trek.
I was like,
that was literally a thirst trap, because the guy saw them. It's like, I can arrange a date if you guys want a date.
It definitely felt skeezy.
I was like,
those were actual real life twins.
Oh, wow.
Who played those parts. Yeah,
That's
they were
neat.
twin sisters.
But I was like, okay, Star Trek, I appreciate that you're trying to like push the barrier, the boundaries a little bit, try to make this a little sexier. Can you not hit us over the head with boobs? Can we relax a little bit?
and then later in the decon chamber,
I'm like,
boy,
we get
it got hot in there.
Like, you don't have to like add things to make it all male gazy. Like, just simply like.
Well, it could have been. They could have had 3 boobs. So.
I know.
This was made in 2001, so the whole 2000 era was hit the audience with boobs and.
Right.
Can you believe that was 20 years ago?
It is crazy that that's 20 years ago.
I know.
Also, too, I graduated high school in 2000.
Oh, that's weird.
Oh my God.
That's weird.
I graduated from high school in 1986.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Both of y'all need to be quiet.
Yes, we know Methuselah. You graduated in the Great Depression.
86, I was already still 2 years deep in the Corps, so hush.
Oh,
In whose Corps?
age range here. This is good.
But what was also kind of, I lost my train of thought because you guys made fun of me
because you were deep in the Corps.
Talking about the sexy dances.
You were deep in the Corps, that's why.
They were trying to push the boundaries with like how sexy things
got
could
it.
be.
No, I remember. It's totally in the future. You see that we've claimed the word boomer. It's not a bad thing anymore.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of neat.
Oh, there
but
you
now,
go.
Well, boomer just means belter. He's just a belter.
Oh, he's a boomer. They didn't say belter. He didn't come from the.
He's a belter. He grew up in space.
Wait
He's
a minute.
belter.
I thought a boomer was a person who was 65 and older. I always
Well, boomer
like the
in
baby
Star Trek
boomers.
is people who were on the freight ships, and the freight ships used an acceleration boom drive, so they call.
And that's why you said belter.
And, well, no, if you watch the
belters
Expanse,
from
if you watch the
Expanse-
Expanse, they're called belters.
Right.
Is
No,
that
the
it?
belters were because they are beyond the belt. They mine the asteroids. So that's why they call them belters. If you're going to use that phrase, Dotman, you got to use it right.
Okay, your belter speak is really lacking. So don't just,
like yours is perfect. Hush up. So
okay, so when they say boomer, they're not talking about a whole bunch of geriatric guys.
No, he was born in space.
No, they're not talking about Nathan. They're not talking about Nathan.
You need to hush.
No, but yeah, they used it.
Mayweather's a good guy also.
Yeah, I really like Mayweather.
He's very personable. If you guys ever get a chance to meet him at a convention, go by his table. He's pretty awesome.
Oh, and when they do the karaoke night, they do two different karaoke nights at the convention usually. Yeah. So they had one night that's one with the Klingons, but then they run the Enterprise one the night after, and he's one of the guys running that thing, and they throw a party like nobody else. They have a good time.
They have a good time.
Trip and
Reed,
yeah, they're always up on the stage singing.
It totally felt like the best summer camp experience to see how much fun everybody gets to have with Klingon night, and then just regular karaoke night, and we were in the room both nights. Like I mean that was the only one convention I went to, but I really loved that summer camp we are together feel.
Oh yeah, they put on a great show. And that's the lower end of the entertainment. I mean, the higher end stuff during the convention, if you get a chance to go see some of the big performances, like they bring the bands into play, the Rat Pack will come in and play. That's so entertaining.
The Rat Pack was amazing.
So good.
One year we went, they had the orchestra playing all the music.
Yeah.
That was very classy.
Nana Visitor singing Fever. Oh my freaking God. Right. That was amazing.
Yeah, it's good stuff. They really entertain you.
I think they really see and appreciate how much that it's this perfect symbiotic relationship, and let's just have fun with our fans because they have fun with us, and the feel of that con. Stupid pandemic. Like, I can't wait to go back and be part of that again, I
wonder if they're going to do the same thing as before, or if it's going to be totally different, or if they're going to have it at all after this.
I know it's going to be.
Well, I've missed two cons now because this past year, 2020, was, obviously pandemic. But the year before that, it was either I'd get to go to Star Trek or I get to go meet my biological father for the first time.
Yeah.
And so I went to go meet my biological father because I'm like, okay, well, I'll just go, I can miss the con this year. I'll go next year. And then the fucking pandemic.
We'll go in 2020 2020 will be a great year.
Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that never happened.
It'll be good once everybody has gotten the vaccine and
can't wait.
Everything else. It'll be
and then they'll have tongues like they did in those dancers because of the vaccine side effects. We'll all have
bifurcated tongues.
They'll
start eating butterflies.
No.
And then we'll get a chance to see Patrick wandering around with his scant in the underwear. So
I always wear underwear. I never go commando in a scant.
Lies. All right, so let's continue because we're getting short on time here.
We're done. That was the last one.
That was it. That was the last. We didn't talk about them getting captured.
Right, and I was going to say, before that, when Trip is watching this kid get weaned off of whatever the air.
Oh yeah.
Like, as an asthmatic, I was just watching that scene going, oh God, this hurts. Like, just keep him on the the nebulizer for a little bit longer. That's what I inferred this whole thing was that it was.
Yeah, it was.
And I was just like, oh.
It was designed to mess with people, that whole scene.
Right, but Trip took it as like the woman was abusing the kid, which I would never think of that. And then maybe that's because of asthma or watching a parent work with a child. Yeah. I don't know why Trip didn't get it. And then, to Paul putting him back at his place. I thought that was interesting.
Well, that just goes to speak to how humans make assumptions.
Exactly.
Yeah, and in general, when you see something and you think something, your first impression is not necessarily
the right
even
one.
Though it's as awful and annoying as that, it's not necessarily what's happening. So it makes you think about things for a second. Hopefully it makes you think about things for a second.
But to me, this is the first time that T'Pol was correcting without sounding totally condescending.
Right.
Yeah.
She actually sounded a little bit teaching.
Yeah.
All the humans are out of their place now. I mean, he looked into that door where something's going on behind that door and is like, we're not interested in that.
Yeah.
And then this is the funny part where he sits down next to, they're in that row of aliens just sitting down there on the bench, and right next to him is the person with the box, and the box starts moving.
It's totally like,
what's in the box?
Was that a dick in the box? That was a dick in the box. box, right?
What's in the box?
I was thinking it was a triple.
I was just thinking of like the awkward waiting room scene from Beetlejuice. Like you're just sitting there,
Yes.
trying in the most mundane
like
circumstance with extraordinary circumstances happening inside. I was like, oh, we're on the New York subway or something.
Right? You would definitely find a dick in a box on the New York subway.
No, I'm sure.
Before we finish up for this week, also to remind everybody, we're going to be doing part 2 next week. But I have to warn Heather before we go. The Tribbles were in the corner of my quarters, and they sound like they were whispering. I never heard Tribbles whisper. But then they broke out in a minor rendition of Faith of the Heart. Uh-oh. And they said they were heading to your quarters.
Oh, no.
So be careful with
Watch
that.
out, Heather.
No.
Patty?
It's a conspiracy. They're trying to overthrow me with the Faith of the Heart song.
I think they want you to leave your room for some reason, because you said that when somebody sing it, you would run out from the room. So I don't know what you have in there.
I'm out of here.
Oh my God, I know. It's your stash of food in your room.
Oh.
Tribbles are hungry.
After your junk food.
And they've got faith.
It's real food. It's not replicator shit.
Then they're really going to go hog wild on that.
I gotta hide the food.
That's why Tribbles are so tough to deal with, because they are relentless. They have to be fed.
Patty?
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for coming on board and giving us all those pictures of Rocky when he was a kid.
My pleasure.
All of those embarrassing stories. I mean, oh my God, how did he get one leg into that thing? I don't know.
We're still
butt naked too.
Yeah, we're still a little weirded out by that incident, but we don't talk about it too much.
I can see why. And how long did it take it to remove it from his belly button? That thing. Well, we can talk about that.
Okay,
afterwards.
good.
That was long.
Yeah.
That was really long.
Really cool. I'm serious. And why with barbs? I have no idea.
I'm still.
Thanks, everybody.
My pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it was a pleasure having you here. I mean, to find out that he has a sister. It's like we felt like Star Wars. It's like Rocky's sister wants to come on. A sister.
There is another.
There's another.
Well, growing up, because we had this overlap in school, because he was ahead of me just enough that I was always introduced as Rocky's little sister. So, yeah, like it's part of the tradition to be known as Rocky's little sister. That's fun.
What's really weird is I get introduced as Patty's older brother.
Yeah.
When I go down and visit her friends, it's like, whoa.
It's a complete reversal.
It is so cool.
Yeah.
Well, now you got to get over there and help him, because he's got his Chewbacca starter kit hair going on. So you're going to have to fix that.
I don't know if I can help with that, but I'll try.
It's called a hat. They work pretty good.
A couple weeks ago, he passes out and wakes up and starts asking for nuclear Wessels, and it just weirded everyone out.
Yeah, he would do that. He is our engineer.
Yeah. It was a little like, okay, man, come back down. We're okay.
Little trivia: Chekhov lives about 3 blocks from me.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
I've actually met him in person. We did a car ride back to his place.
Oh, fun.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was actually after the convention Kamikaze where I met you, Nathan.
Oh, how cool is that?
Oh, Kamikaze.
Yeah.
Was so
Kamikaze,
good.
that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
It was so nice.
Yeah,
I don't know if we'll be invited back to that one.
Yeah, we will.
I don't know. Remember, I flipped out on and left that message on the owner's.
It's so long ago that she won't even remember. Either that or I'll call and they won't recognize the voice. And
it's changed ownership a lot over the years, so maybe that got forgotten.
Don't even worry about it.
Weren't you that guy that left me that voicemail? I remember you.
So don't even worry about it. So thanks everybody for joining us for our show. We ran a little long, but that's good because we have fun.
That's right.
Make sure you come back next week for part 2. Don't forget to check our show links and everything else in our bios. And just don't have a great week. Make it so.
Starfleet Underground, beaming into a podcast feed near you. Log on to our website at starfleetunderground.com and send your comments and questions to thecollective@starfleetunderground.com. Follow us on Twitter at StarfleetUnderG and on Facebook and Instagram, we're Starfleet Underground.